So what if I told you it was possible to feel amazing just using methods that work with your brain, your mind, your emotions, your body, and breathing patterns? What if I told you that you could not just feel good, but you could feel amazing, like beyond anything you've ever felt, and that you could sustain it, and then you could get back to it most days and often many times a day, and you just needed to practice these methods for 10, 15 minutes a day, and then it just took a little bit of time to learn them, to practice them, and to get some changes in your body, mind, emotions, and brain so that you could feel those states. Well, that's exactly what I can do with some of the methods I've made. My name is Todd Nyholm. I've been a somatic therapist for 22 years, and I've built up this method I call the Nytality method, which is a combination of those methods that I've put together in order to create those states, as well as to help your health. So I've also used those methods to help autoimmune conditions, deep feelings of depression and anxiety, energy issues, sleep issues, insomnia, a lot of those things. And it's interesting as you start to retrain your brain, as you start to retrain how you work with your own emotions, with your own body, with your own mind, a lot of problems that you have begin to disappear on their own, which is quite an amazing thing. And so now I'm really feeling inspired to try to teach that to as many people as I can. So these methods I'll often do, and I can go to a park and do them. I can do them walking around a mall or at home in a meditative position. So I can do them just about anywhere. I make myself feel that good. I really notice the people around me because I'm feeling amazing and I can see them not doing well at all. They're depressed, their heads down, maybe they're fighting with the people around them. And it really creates this interesting cognitive dissonance for me because I want to teach more of these to people. I just spent a few weeks in Spain teaching some students of mine. It's a small group of 12 people that have been my advanced students that I've been teaching my methods to. They're my control group, my test group, to see if these methods work for them as well as for me. It's men and women, different ages, different races. So I can get a chance to see how it works for different people. And these methods are pretty easy to do. You just got to follow the formula, get used to them, and build them in your system. They don't require you to take anything, so they're really quite safe. And you're just working with yourself in different ways, working with your mind and emotions and body and breathing patterns. And then you're putting those things together in different ways to sort of wake your brain up, to get it to inhibit the parts that need to be inhibited when they need to be inhibited, to wake up the parts that are somewhat dormant so that you can work and function a little differently on your own. So there's really some cool ways to do that so you can feel better than you might imagine. So I hope you'll begin to follow my work if this is interesting to you, if it catches your attention a little bit. I'm going to put a lot more of this out in these videos on the different platforms. If you're interested in getting started with some things sooner, this book that I wrote and published last year, What the Bleep Brain, is available. It's on Amazon and Apple Books and a few other places, so you can find it if you're interested in getting started right away with some of more of the deeper stuff. But I'm going to try to put this everywhere in lots of places where people can work with it, and then build some courses and hopefully build a community around it so that I can teach more people how to do it and how to do it more deeply. I can't tell you how much it changes my life. And I've said this before in other videos and on interviews when I was talking about my books. I would rather have these methods and the changes they make for me than even $1 billion, because I've worked with very rich people who were doing terribly. Their mind wasn't working well, their emotions, their body. They were just in a desperate state and sort of at the end of what they could handle. But they had more money than I've ever imagined in my life. And the money didn't solve those problems. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying money is bad. I'm just trying to make the point that if you can work with yourself in these ways, your life might get so much better that you might not even be able to imagine what that would be like. And that is a treasure in its own. It's a wealth in its own sake. And I'm going to try to teach as many people as quickly as I can how to do that. So some of my students have had just amazing results in the last couple months, similar to the ones that I've had, sort of resolving chronic health issues, dealing with terrible emotional ups and downs and upheavals, sleep issues, all kinds of cool things. And so I'm really excited to try to put it out there more. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you are kind of interested in these methods, just subscribe and follow what I'm doing. You can look into my books. I have a website, nytality.com, Nytality. But in any case, just follow me here and I'll teach a lot more. Maybe you can get a sense of what I'm doing. And we'll just put little pieces out there and we'll start to connect them. But I can't tell you how much this can change your life and how it can change how you feel inside. Because I got to this because I was desperate to figure out how to do that. And quite frankly, I couldn't find anyone else who had done that. So when I was a boy and I started looking at this, I was looking around in the people I knew and doctors and teachers and anyone I could find. And I realized most people, they're not doing really well inside. They're really suffering their own mind, their own body, their own emotions. their own inability to control the things inside of them. And so most people end up desperate to control the people outside of them or the circumstances that are going on around them because they don't know how to deal with the ones inside them. When you do, the stuff outside of you becomes a lot more easy as well. Not that it makes your life perfect, but you're going to feel better, you're going to be healthier, you're going to sleep better. And a lot of that is because you don't know how to work with yourself inside. It's like we have this wonderful system of things as a human being, all these things I've been talking about, mind, body, emotions, but you don't really know how to use them. You don't have a good user's manual of what to do with them. And so I've spent my whole life trying to figure out how to do it. Over 40 years now, I've been working on these methods, and they're really quite life-changing. So I went from being in a terrible place personally, dealing with all kinds of health issues and complex post-TSD, PTSD, and some things along those lines, and now I feel much better. And it's really my passion to try to teach that to people now. And hopefully I'll be able to bring you along and bring some people along that might be interested in it. So, like I said, follow for more, tips on how to do this and some training methods, and we can kind of work our way through it if it's interesting to you. And hopefully I'll see you more in these videos. See you next time.